Hi, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Just making sure that we're alive. It looks like we're good. This is Chris Alicia. I'm coming to you live from Virginia, and this is Intentionality, Unraveling the Secrets of the Universe. Thank you all for joining me tonight. I hope you are all staying safe and staying calm and staying centered. I'm just checking my hair there, which is completely normal. This has been a very tumultuous time for the whole world, which really gives us the opportunity to be there for each other in a way that we typically aren't. It's easy for us to forget about empathy sometimes. It's easy for us to not be able to walk in each other's shoes. You know, we see what happens over in Africa, we see what happens in the Middle East, and a lot of times we're very comfortable in the fact that it's not us. Well, in this case, it is us. It's us and it's everyone else. So this is a time for us to really stand up in our humanity, in our divine essence as beings, and reach out and touch each other in a way that we never have before. And I don't mean physically, I mean spiritually and through love. This is the time where we need to be more loving than ever, which is fantastic for the show today, because I'm going to give you some tips on how to be more loving, how to open your heart more, and why that is so important. So this season on Intentionality, we have been talking all about the 7 steps of Ascension. Now, 7 is an incredibly powerful number throughout history. And if you look at different civilizations across the world, you'll see that there are patterns where they use the number 7 in their spiritual studies. Buddhism has the 7 factors of awakening, in which elements that Buddha says you need to conquer mentally and physically in order to ascend. Mary Magdalene has the 7 powers of wrath, which are 7 emotions that you need to overcome in order to ascend, in order to reach Christ consciousness. So this number 7, which has been used throughout the world, is finally coming to light as a pattern, as a universal pattern, as a secret that the universe has left for us in order to help us find our way home, in order to help us ascend. Now, this is a time of ascension for the planet. The entire planet is changing and ascending. And if you think that doesn't affect you, you're wrong. It absolutely does. So learning these 7 steps of ascension, looking at the different cultures and how they cross-compare, and finding those commonalities, the patterns among these ancient traditions, you're able to see how these 7 steps fit into your life, how you can incorporate these 7 steps in your life and make a ginormous difference, not just for yourself, but for everyone around you. Because we don't ascend alone. Every single time you take a step forward, the people around you feel it. They are changed on a chemical and a soul level. So you do this work as a spiritual seeker, not just for yourself, but for the entire planet. It is a massive gift. It is an honor to be on this journey with you. And I hope you feel proud of yourself for all of the spiritual work that you have done to this day and all the spiritual work you will do in the future. So before I get started, please, if you are watching this live, or even if you watch it on the playback later, please leave comments. I've got my screen up under here. I'll be able to read comments throughout the show. If you are unable to leave comments, or I don't know, you just don't feel like it, that's fine. There's no pressure for that. But the comments are there. So please ask me questions if you have them throughout the show. So on the last episode, we talked about step 3. So step 3 in the ascension process is all about your individual power. I am power. What that meant for our ancient, these ancient traditions, these ancient mystery schools, including alchemy, was that you are stepping out of a world that you just kind of get rolled around in. right? The world just kind of tosses you, it flows you, things happen to you. You're a victim, things happen to you. In step 3, you learn the importance of owning your own power, of standing in your own power and taking control back, not only of your life, but your thoughts, your emotions, your spirituality. This is really where you start to go against what society has told you is always right and say, what feels right to me? And in that feeling is where you find your individual power. An incredibly important step, and one that I bounce around on quite a bit myself, is owning, honoring, and embracing my power. It's often frightening for a lot of us to think of what is it that we have to do? What is our mission? Are we going to be able to fulfill our mission on this planet? Is it too big? Are we not good enough? These thoughts, these feelings are absolutely ones that I share with a lot of people, because this is a part of owning your power, is letting go of those thoughts that tell you you are not worthy. So once you get through that, once you own your power, you move on to the 4th step of ascension. Now, the 4th step of ascension is love. It is unconditional, unbiased, unjudgmental, complete acceptance of yourself and of everybody else. So across the 5 traditions that I've studied for this show and then across compared, I'm going to show you the step 4 for each of these 5 traditions. But I want you to really hone in on the synchronicity of step 4, love, coming at this time. Synchronicity being something that's beyond a coincidence, something that's too magical to be a coincidence. Love is more important now than ever before. It is the 4th step of ascension. There are 3 below and there are 3 above. The 4th step is the bridge. Just like our heart chakra is the bridge between the upper chakras and the lower chakras. This is where we act as a conduit for the above and the below. It is a magical turning point in our lives where we embrace the fact that we are not this lower energy. We are something more. And when we embrace love, when we live love, you are creating a new consciousness inside of you. And the world will shift accordingly. Because as I said, I think it was last week, if you fill your heart with unconditional love, there is no room for heartbreak. The world can no longer hurt you. If you have unconditional love, there's no room for anything else. Pain is not going to last. Judgment is not going to hurt you. There's no room for any of it. Love will conquer all of that. So what does this all mean? Right? So this one, more than any of the other steps, has so many commonalities across it that it's hard to miss them. Right? This is the love week. This is all about real happiness, and not in the material world, not in the things that we've learned. This is happiness in ourselves. So much happiness in ourselves, for the fact that we have self-love, unconditional self-love. So Mary Magdalene talked about the desire for death, that we abuse our bodies, that we abuse our minds, that we abuse other people. And when you really get down to the motivation to do those things, it does come back to being unhappy. You're unhappy with something. Some element of your life has made you unhappy. An unhappy person will mistreat their bodies. A happy person will not do that. There's no, why would a happy person go out and abuse somebody or do drugs? There are things that you put into your body that are absolutely toxic. Why would you do that to your body? Do you not love your body? These are all parts of Mary Magdalene's zeal for death and go right in hand with Buddhism's happiness on your journey. Happiness in your life means no need to escape, no need to hide away from things that are painful or dark. Why wouldn't you look at an event that's happened to you? I'm a happy person. I am a wonderfully happy person. The things that have happened in my life, I have no problem looking at them. I am not afraid to look at them. I'm not afraid to talk about them. I'm not afraid to share them because I'm happy. Those things don't hurt me. They can't hurt me anymore because I found happiness inside of me. I have finally come through to a place where I'm happy on the journey that I'm on. And I talked about this last season as well. Spiritual seekers across the world are saying the same thing. And it's that this life has been so painful that they will never come back to Earth. They never want to reincarnate. They are in so much pain and they feel so lost and so overwhelmed that they don't want to reincarnate. This is what Buddha is talking about. If you do not have happiness in your journey, you cannot ascend to those next levels. You are holding yourself back by holding on to your unhappiness because everything in the world does not control your happiness. It doesn't control you. Those are external factors. If you find happiness within, that other stuff does not matter. You will be able to release pain. You will be able to release anger. Radical forgiveness comes with happiness. You're a happy person. Why couldn't you radically forgive somebody? Of course, I accept my spouse unconditionally because I'm a happy person. Now, that's not completely true. I mean, we all have. I mean, I'm working on that one too. But that is the goal, is to get to a point where everyone and everything around you is perfect the way it is because you have happiness. You have self-love. Then none of the rest of that stuff matters. It is a drop in the bucket. You take note of it and you let it go. It's not to say it doesn't even hurt for a moment, but you let it go because you're a happy person. Being able to find that happiness in myself was a huge turning point on my spiritual journey. As I was saying, just like those light workers were saying, I didn't want to come back. This life was painful. I couldn't understand why I had to go through all of those things. I couldn't understand having breast cancer before 30, having an abusive mother. I could not understand why I had to keep suffering. And at some point, it clicked that those things didn't happen to me. I was not a victim. I wasn't even a survivor. I was given opportunities to go inside and find myself. Each of those opportunities were ways to find myself, to illuminate who I was, to show myself my massive power and strength. And once I found that power and that strength, and I started to find that happiness inside, the rest of the stuff really did become easier. And now I can honestly say I will absolutely come back for another incarnation. Because we work so damn hard. I want to see what happens next. But this happiness, this fourth step, that bridge between the upper and lower energies is love. It is, again, a very simple term with massive implications. Being able to have that self-love, not just for yourself and for other people, is creates a new world. It's just like alchemy talks about. This is the stage of creation. You're creating something new here. You are no longer that person that you were before. That is not to say that you can't go back into ego occasionally, that you can't feel old emotions occasionally, but you have changed on a chemical level when you reach this stage. It is an absolutely pivotal moment for everyone when you start to open your heart to love yourself, to love other people. If you start with conditional love, conditional acceptance, conditional forgiveness, work your way up to unconditional. Forgive yourself when you do something wrong. Accept yourself for the way that you look. Accept yourself for your strengths, for your weaknesses, for everything. And there was a really powerful exercise I did, and I think it was an Edgar Cayce one, where you just stare in the mirror and you have to say, I love you. I love you. And look over every part of your body. And you can even call out the body parts. I love my eyes. I love my mouth. I love my arms. I love my heart. And you would do this for 2 or 3 minutes every single day and just run down the mirror while looking at yourself and saying, I love you. I love you. It's an exercise to open your heart, to find happiness in the moment, in who and what you are, and stop living in the past. The past is just like the lower energies. The past is a trap. It's a trick. We don't live there anymore. You can't change it. You can't do anything about it. It does nothing for you. Live now. Live in the heart. Across these 5 traditions, they're all saying the same thing. Live in the heart. Find happiness, find love, find joy for who you are, what you're doing here. And you will find freedom. You will unburden yourself of everything that you've been holding on to that does not serve you. An incredible, incredible time. What that reminds me of when I'm doing it, and I hadn't written this down, this is not in my notes, is how loved I am. How loved all of us are. Not just here in this life, but in a much, much bigger scale. I can feel how loved I am when I do that. I feel that the universe and the earth love me when I do that. It feels like being wrapped in a big hug. So you want to learn to open your heart. Open your heart. Do physical exercises that open the chest cavity. Balance out the masculine and feminine sides of yourself by moving the energy through the entire body. Center yourself when you're feeling stressed or anxious. Bring yourself to center, to balance. And practice, visualize opening your heart. Even the practices show you that when you learn to open your heart, life is good. Life is better when you live in your heart. This is not the mind anymore. This is not the voice in your head that says you're not good enough. When you open your heart, you know you're good enough. There's no doubt anymore. You can feel it. That's why the heart trumps the head every single time. The brain only knows what's happened in the past. It cannot tell you what's happening to you now. It cannot tell you what's going to happen to you in the future. But your heart can. The heart controls every element of the body. So when we open our heart, we're getting in touch with everything. We are creating something new. We are finally creating the divine element, the divine being that we are in the spirit world here in this planet, in this vessel. So that's no big deal. Of course, huge step, huge. If you lead with your heart, steps 1 through 3 that we went through, releasing the ego, releasing the emotion, becoming aware of who you are, embracing your power. The heart can get you through all of those steps. It is a massive tool that we just kind of forget about. So next week, we're going to be going into step 5. And this is the step where you really get into the truth of who you are, not as a human, but as a spirit. Next week, we'll be talking about I Am Truth, Step 5. Please reach out to me if you have any questions on anything that we've done here. I do have a 14-week masterclass on these 7 steps. We do exercises every week. There are worksheets, there's homework, there's group sessions, there's one-on-one sessions. We dive into each of these steps together so we can guide and learn each other. Please watch me again next Monday. I'll be on again next Monday, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. Check me out on awaketvnetwork.com. On my Facebook page, please link in on my Facebook page, Intentionality, Unraveling the Divine Secrets of the Universe. I've got a lot of videos on YouTube as well, Intentionality. I've also got Instagram, LinkedIn. I'm on there. If you need me, I am here to serve. So until next week, my beautiful, beautiful soul family, love and light.